Grief and loss are universal human experiences that touch every individual at some point in their lives. Whether it's the death of a loved one, the end of a significant relationship, a job loss, or even the loss of a cherished dream, grief can manifest in various forms and intensities. This article, brought to you by Wisdom Corner, will delve deep into the complex emotions and practical strategies involved in coping with grief and loss. In our journey through this topic, we'll explore the fundamental aspects of grief, its stages, common reactions, and the importance of acknowledging and processing these emotions. Additionally, we'll provide valuable insights, tips, and coping mechanisms to help you navigate the challenging path of healing and finding solace in the midst of sorrow. 1. Understanding grief and loss. Grief is a natural response to loss, and it can affect people physically, emotionally, and mentally. It's essential to comprehend that grief is not a one-size-fits-all experience. Each person's journey through grief is unique, influenced by various factors such as the nature of the loss, their individual personality, and their support system. Loss can take many forms, including death of a loved one, divorce or the end of a significant relationship, job loss or career setbacks, loss of health due to illness or injury, the death of a pet, miscarriage or infertility, loss of financial stability, relocation or displacement. 2. The stages of grief. Understanding the stages of grief, as initially proposed by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross in her book, On Death and Dying. They can provide insight into the emotional journey one undergoes while coping with loss. These stages include denial. Initially, it may be challenging to accept the reality of the loss. Denial acts as a buffer to protect the individual from overwhelming emotions. Anger. As the shock of denial fades, anger may surface. People often express anger at themselves, others, or even the situation itself. Bargaining. In this stage, individuals may attempt to make deals or bargains in hopes of reversing the loss. They might pray or seek help in an effort to regain what's been lost. Depression. A deep sense of sadness and despair can set in as the reality of the loss becomes more apparent. This stage can be particularly challenging and may involve feelings of hopelessness and isolation. Acceptance. Over time, many people reach a point of acceptance where they begin to come to terms with the loss. This doesn't necessarily mean they no longer feel sadness, but they have learned to live with it. It's important to note that these stages are not linear and don't apply to everyone. Grief is a highly individualized process, and people may experience these stages in different orders or skip some altogether. 3. Common reactions to grief. In addition to the stages of grief, there are common emotional, physical, and psychological reactions that individuals may experience while coping with loss. Some of these reactions include intense sadness. A deep and pervasive sense of sadness is a hallmark of grief. It can be overwhelming at times, leading to feelings of despair. Physical symptoms. Grief can manifest physically, leading to headaches, fatigue, changes in appetite, and sleep disturbances. Guilt and regret. Many people experience guilt or regret related to the loss, questioning whether they could have done more to prevent it or feeling remorse for things left unsaid or undone. Anxiety and fear. The uncertainty that often accompanies loss can lead to increased anxiety and fear about the future. Social isolation. Grief can cause people to withdraw from social interactions as they grapple with their emotions. Difficulty concentrating. Grief can make it challenging to focus or make decisions as the mind is preoccupied with thoughts of loss. Understanding these common reactions can help individuals recognize that what they are experiencing is a natural response to grief and not a sign of weakness. 4. The importance of acknowledging grief. One of the most critical steps in coping with grief and loss is acknowledging and accepting the reality of the emotions you are experiencing. Denying or suppressing grief can lead to more profound and longer-lasting pain. Here are some reasons why acknowledging grief is essential. Validation. Recognizing your grief is a way of acknowledging the significance of the loss in your life. It validates your emotions as legitimate and natural responses to the situation. Processing emotions. Grief needs to be expressed and processed. Ignoring it or bottling it up can lead to complications later on. Preventing complicated grief. Unresolved or suppressed grief can result in complicated grief, a condition where the pain intensifies and persists for an extended period. Physical and mental health. Acknowledging and addressing grief is crucial for maintaining both physical and mental well-being. Unresolved grief can lead to various health issues, including depression and anxiety. 5 coping mechanisms for grief and loss. While grief is a challenging and often painful experience, there are coping mechanisms that can help individuals navigate this difficult journey more effectively. Here are some strategies to consider. Allow yourself to grieve. Give yourself permission to feel the pain and sadness associated with your loss. It's okay to cry and express your emotions. Talk about it. Sharing your feelings with friends, family, or a therapist can be incredibly helpful. Talking about your grief can provide a sense of relief and connection. Create rituals. Establishing rituals or memorial activities can be a way to honor the memory of the person or thing you've lost. Self-care. Pay attention to your physical and emotional needs. Eat well, get enough sleep, and engage in activities that bring you joy and relaxation. Mindfulness and meditation. Practices such as mindfulness and meditation can help you stay in the present moment and reduce the impact of intrusive thoughts. Journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can be a therapeutic way to process your grief. Seek professional help. If you find it challenging to cope with your grief on your own, consider seeking the assistance of a therapist or counselor who specializes in grief and loss. Support groups. Joining a grief support group can provide a sense of community and understanding with others who are going through similar experiences. 6. Seeking support. Reaching out for support during times of grief is not a sign of weakness but a testament to your strength in acknowledging your need for help. There are various sources of support you can consider. Friends and family. Loved ones can provide emotional support and a listening ear. Therapists and counselors. Professional help can offer guidance and strategies for coping with grief. Support groups. Joining a support group can provide a sense of belonging and shared understanding. Religious or spiritual leaders. If you are part of a religious or spiritual community, seeking guidance from your leader or community can be a source of comfort. Online communities. There are many online forums and communities where people share their grief experiences and offer support. Hotlines. Crisis hotlines and helplines are available 24/7 for those who need immediate support. Remember that seeking support is a proactive step towards healing and is often an essential part of the grief journey. 7. Grief and cultural differences. Cultural factors play a significant role in how individuals experience and cope with grief. It's essential to recognize that different cultures have varying customs, beliefs, and rituals surrounding death and loss. Understanding these cultural differences can help provide more sensitive and appropriate support to those grieving. In some cultures, grief may be expressed openly and emotionally, while in others, there may be more stoicism or restraint. Rituals and ceremonies related to death and mourning also vary widely, and respecting these traditions is essential in offering support. 8. Healing and moving forward. Healing from grief does not mean forgetting the person or thing you've lost. Rather, it involves finding a way to carry the memory forward while also embracing the present and the future. Here are some steps to aid in the healing process. Set realistic expectations. Understand that healing takes time, and there is no set timeline for grief. Allow yourself to heal at your own pace. Rediscover meaning. Seek ways to find purpose and meaning in your life, even after a significant loss. Celebrate milestones. Marking significant milestones, such as anniversaries or birthdays, can be a way to remember and honor your loved one. Create a new normal. Your life may have changed significantly due to the loss. Adapt to these changes and create a new sense of normalcy. Seek professional help if needed. If grief continues to overwhelm you or interfere with daily life, don't hesitate to reach out to a therapist or counselor. Remember that healing is unique. Everyone's healing journey is unique, and there is no one-size-fits-all approach. Trust in your own process. 9. Wisdom from personal stories. One of the most valuable sources of wisdom in coping with grief and loss comes from the stories and experiences of those who have walked this path. Here are a few personal stories of resilience and healing. 10. Take away from this video and don't forget to subscribe. Coping with grief and loss is an intricate and deeply personal journey. It's essential to remember that there is no right or wrong way to grieve, and everyone's experience is unique. Wisdom Corner is here to provide guidance, support, and a community of understanding as you navigate this challenging terrain. Remember that healing is possible, and though the pain of loss may never fully disappear, it can evolve into a source of strength, wisdom, and compassion. As you move through the stages of grief and embrace the support and coping strategies offered here, may you find solace and healing on your path forward.